Want to talk about it? I'd talk about it with anybody. Yeah, no problem. At any time. But they're not. I'm just expressing myself. And I think we all as Americans have the right to express ourselves, especially if you're being respectful. I'm being respectful. I just asked a simple question, really. Let's get right down to it. What did I ask? A simple question. Why are we not looking into those things? If we're going to talk about it, why are we not looking into those things? Because it's kind of hard for me to say I can realistically look at it. I see the images on TV. People's livelihoods are being destroyed. Businesses are being burned down. No problem. And then we have a dust-up at the Capitol. Well, there's nothing burned down. And we're not going to talk about it. We're going to make that a major deal. I just think it's kind of two standards. And if we apply the same standard, and we're going to be reasonable with each other, let's have a discussion. That's all it was. Let's have a discussion. We're Americans. Let's talk it through. I'm for us, having a great opportunity to have a fulfilled life. Like I said, every which way I can. When I'm here, it's about love and respect.
Jack Del Rio told on himself by doubling down on that dumbass tweet. He told exactly what he thinks about this country and about black people. And the last thing I'll say, Michael, is if he's entitled to his opinion, I'm entitled to mine. And in my opinion, if the NFL is actually serious about its image, if it's actually serious about somewhat possibly coming close to atoning to its sins against Colin Kaepernick and those that dare to protest against police brutality against black people, if you want to put in racism in the end zone, and it takes all of us, Jack Del Rio should be writing a check for a big-ass fine, if not suspended for himself, because that's inflammatory, problematic, offensive language that he used, and he is representing not only an NFL organization, but the National Football League, and that cannot go unpunished, what he just said. So Jack Del Rio had the right to express himself, and Ron Rivera had the right to fine him 6 figures. Ron Rivera said many of the right things in his statement, which I'll read momentarily. Derek Johnson at NAACP had called for Del Rio's job in the last couple of days. Ron Rivera didn't fire him, but he fined him $100,000, and in doing so said this. This morning, I met with Coach Del Rio to express how disappointed I am in his comments on Wednesday. His comments do not reflect the organization's views and are extremely hurtful to our great community here in the DMV. We saw last night in the hearings, which were gut-wrenching, what happened on the Capitol on January 6, 2021 was an act of domestic terrorism. A group of citizens attempted to overthrow the results of a free and fair election, and as a result, lives were lost and the Capitol building was damaged. Coach Del Rio did apologize, weak apology, that's my words, not Rivera's, for his comments on Wednesday, and he understands the distinction between the events of that dark day and peaceful protests, which are a hallmark of our democracy. He does have the right to voice his opinion as a citizen of the United States, and it most certainly is his constitutional right to do so. However, words have consequences, and his words hurt a lot of people in our community. I want to make it clear that our organization will not tolerate any equivalency between those who demanded justice in the wake of George Floyd's murder and the actions of those on January 6th who sought to topple our government. Now, here's the good part. That was good, but here's the good part. After reflecting on the situation and circumstances, I've decided to fine Coach Del Rio $100,000, which the team will donate to the United States Capitol Police Memorial Fund. I feel strongly that after our conversation this morning, he will have a greater understanding for the impact of his language and the values that our team stands for. I doubt, even after he maybe watched the hearing last night, I doubt that Jack Del Rio has a greater understanding in general, because I think he spoke his heart the first couple of times.
That's right. I don't think he watched.
I think his apology.
He probably didn't watch it, Mike.
He probably didn't. His apology was weak because he still said, I stand by my comments condemning violence in communities across the country. So he still doesn't understand how problematic his false equivalency was, even though he said it was irresponsible and negligent to call January 6th a dust-up. The $100,000 is a great start. That's Jack Del Rio fining him. If Daniel Snyder had any kind of sense about him, which he doesn't, he'd fine him as well. If the NFL really wanted to make a statement, they'd fine him another $150,000, bring it up to about $250,000. Whatever the maximum is for conduct detrimental to the league, put that on top of the first step fine that Ron Rivera hit Jack Del Rio with. Also, this organization doesn't deserve Ron Rivera. I love Ron Rivera. I root for Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
Just such an odd marriage between a man of principle and that organization, for which Jack Del Rio is a much more natural fit. But $100,000, bravo, Ron Rivera. Jack Del Rio still doesn't get it, but at least he got fined.
Hey, my brother. I don't know if you remember this. You probably don't, because I have to be like
I have selective memory. Selective memory.
I kind of have to be the oral historian of our relationship. But I think it was early. We were just starting the show. Maybe we're like months into the show, and they asked us to be a part of like some like media tour. And we were talking to people. We were doing interviews. People asked us questions, and it was, I think maybe it was Black History Month or something like that.
Yeah, they ran out all the minorities. It was like a minority panel. It was one of those. Yeah.
So
right.
They were asking us, and one guy came on. I remember it very clearly, and I wish I had just given him the answer. But I wasn't thinking quickly enough. He said,
I remember this, and I know where you're going. Yep, I love it. Go ahead.
No, he said, you remember you're going to talk to any Republicans, right?
Right.
You remember that question?
Yeah.
And what I should have said to him is like, we talk to Republicans all the time on this show.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
A lot of professional athletes and coaches are Republicans. That's not the problem. The R after your name is not the problem. It's your judgment. See, I couldn't play for Jack Del Rio. Why? Not because he's clearly a right winger, because I don't trust his judgment. How could you be in D.C. and call that a dust-up? I don't trust you, man. I don't trust that you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing.
Right.
So I can't vibe with you.
Right. How I know what you're going to call on third down?
You're not competent.
Clearly, you have no sense about you. You know,
I don't trust you.
Is this who I want to entrust Chase Young's career to?
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.